Okay, is it A, Susan Pollard? No idea who that is.
Could you sync up the audio for me? You didn't say 1, 2.
Oh, Sue Pollard.
Oh, she was a Heidi High.
That achieves nothing.
Oh, do you need a wee or anything?
No. I've got to close it out.
Oh, I'm sorry. So when I clap, I go 1 like that.
Yes.
Right. Shall I do it again?
Yes, please.
1, 2.
Beautiful. Sounds you don't want to hear sat in the waiting room at the dentist.
It was literally like that. It was real. Questions were really hard.
Welcome.
Dan.
It's the Baker Bears podcast. I've sacked Kate. And I've upgraded.
Yes.
Welcome
Hello.
to episode 49. Oh my goodness.
49. I've noticed loads of people are on this kind of number of episodes.
Oh, okay.
Zena's just hit 50.
She looks about.
That sounded terrible.
She never is.
She's not 50 in age. Bless her.
Not only is it episode 49, this is our podcast anniversary.
So it is.
Our very first podcast was 2 years ago on the 8th of May.
Right.
So we did a special Patreon-only podcast last Friday, which was very close to our podcast anniversary, and this is our Bakery Bears main show podcast anniversary. And we have lots of unbelievably exciting things going on.
Do.
I've got to say, though, the last 2 weeks have been rubbish.
Rubbish.
Yes. She's repeating me again.
I am. I've not done that for ages.
But we're going to allow her to because they have been rubbish.
They have.
We won't bore you with the details, and we all have tough weeks, don't we?
Yes.
But this is just about what topped off our 2 weeks. Of course, you should not be looking at us sat here. You should be looking at us in Middleham Castle.
Yes.
Doing part 2 of Favourite Places to Knit, The Rise of the Tudors.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it's going to be amazingly brilliant. I took ages pulling together the research and the script and the shop list, and as Kay said when we were in the process of doing what I'm about to tell you about, it doesn't matter how much you plan something, when something goes wrong that is beyond your control.
Unbelievable.
So everything's planned, picnic packed. We even had the camera woman with us.
Yeah.
So, it was the perfect shoot day. The weather was lovely.
Yeah.
In the car, onto the A1. Now, the A1 was built by the Romans when they arrived. It was their road to Scotland that they used to get their soldiers.
It's a bang straight road, basically,
it is
that runs
the main road
from Scotland
north.
All the way down to Leeds, and then when it hits Leeds, it turns into the M1, doesn't it? Carries on, effectively.
It is the same path that the Romans
So it
chiselled
goes
out.
really from London up to Scotland.
One artery.
Yeah.
And it is the main flow of traffic. Well, on Sunday, they chose to close it.
So they closed the entire 2 lane both ways.
So, it was fine because luckily, we had, and actually, I'm sat in the car and I'm panicking with Kay and I'm thinking, what are we going to have to do? And we're thinking, are we going to have to come down on our own and do the shoot?
We couldn't get there, basically.
It was just impossible. It would have taken us all day to get there.
Because there was huge 40-mile diversions. It was ludicrous.
So we're sat there in the car, we're trying to decide what to do, and it just so happens that we have 2 stonking episodes of Knit or Forfeit already in the can.
Yeah.
So it was like, this is perfect. So we thought, I know what we'll do. We will go to Richmond. We will have a picnic.
Yeah.
And it was, I must admit, it was lovely.
It was.
Kay made an amazing picnic.
Yeah, get this. Yes, Kay made a lovely picnic because Dan's like, you want to make a picnic? So I spent an hour making a picnic.
Well, you have to eat, don't you?
Well, I know, but I spent ages making this picnic.
Because Middleham, there's nothing.
No,
there's just the castle. And
so you've got to take things
horses.
with you. Yeah, so you've got to take things with you. So fine, make a picnic. And then because we went to Richmond instead, Dan said, I'm going to go and get chips from the chippy.
So I did. I got 4 bushels of chips.
So
Dan ate the picnic and the chips.
The entire picnic and the chips.
No, we all did. It wasn't just me.
All of mine. I had half of the stuff.
But everyone ate the chips.
Yes. Because you will, won't you? Given the choice of chips from the chippy.
But is this not a new thing? Picnic and chips?
Well, it should be. It was very nice.
I was talking to Nana Wendy on the phone about it, and she said, "Oh, you should start a line of fryers that you can take with you on picnics." No, that's not the point. The point is you need a nearby chippy to collect said chips from, and then take them. And it is, Richmond Castle's perfect for that, actually, because the chippy is like 2 minutes walk from the castle, so it's spot on. But what we did do was we did some pickup shots for our amazing new podcast, which is coming really soon, called The Bakery Bears Picnic, funnily enough.
Picnic is the theme.
It very much is the theme. But not only that.
But we will get to Midland.
Oh, absolutely we will. Next episode, episode 50, our grand 50th show, as I've heard, actually, is Zena's age. So
Zena hates me now.
Our grand 50th show, that is when we will do. And it seriously, it's going to be absolutely stonky. But that's for 2 weeks' time. Yeah. Today, it's going to be about Knit or Forfeit Part 1 with the Xena Princess Warrior. And the great thing about this is we're filming live together.
Yes.
First time we've ever been able to do that. But that wasn't the only really annoying thing that happened these 2 weeks. Poor Kay.
Was it not?
Poor Kay. As you know, you and me, to an extent, suffer with anxiety.
Yes.
And the last time you went to the dentist, you had an anxiety attack.
Well, I'm never very good in the dentist, and I don't.
But it was the last time was particularly bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think it was maybe the time before I had to have some work done, so I had an anaesthetic, and I had a really bad reaction to the anaesthetic, and I think that maybe is, it's at the back of my mind. I didn't have to have anything done this time. It was just a check-up and a clean and polish. But I'm sat in the waiting room like you do. You know what you're like in the waiting room with a dentist. And it was a 9 o'clock appointment, so I thought I'd be the first one. Obviously, I wasn't. From what I heard, I sat there, thinking, oh gosh, come on, I don't want to be sat here ages. I hear this somebody like screaming.
Is this current visit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just this week.
Sounds you don't want to hear sat in the waiting room with the dentist.
It was literally like that. It was literally like that. And I'm like, oh gosh. I nearly walked out, and then I thought, well, no, I'm going to have to come back if I walk out, aren't I? So.
Now, it would be interesting to just do a very quick straw poll. Is there anyone that goes to the dentist and sits there and is happy as Larry whilst they chisel away your teeth? It's not pleasant, is it?
No, it's just not. And even like just to clean and polish, I find really horrible, because I've got quite sensitive teeth. So, the cleaning business with the whatever they use, the electric thingy-mabobby, just goes straight through your entire brain, doesn't it? Oh, it's awful.
And I always hate it. I don't know, again, if this happens to you, Kara, if it's happened to any of you out there. They inject you with that stuff, and they inject it in, and you feel the needle go in, but then loads of it's in your mouth. That always happens to me.
The anaesthetic?
When they inject that stuff into your gums, half of it ends up in the back of my throat.
Oh, right.
Even though they've stuck it into my gum. I don't know what that's about. And has that happened to you before?
I've not experienced that, I don't think.
Not pleasant. It always makes me think of Little Shop of Horrors and that great Steve Martin character. Little Shop of Horrors. Steve Martin plays a dentist, and it's really funny. So it's not been the best of 2 weeks.
No, and that was just one of the many things that's happened.
But we don't care. We have the solution. Earlier on this year, we did an investigation into what was the new socks.
We did, didn't we?
We explored mittens.
Yeah.
They're not the new socks.
We said mittens were the new socks.
They're not. We also explored knotty gloves.
Yeah, we said...
And they are knotty, the new socks.
We said gloves were the next socks.
They're not.
No.
So we have now successfully established that the next socks is...
We now have declared that actually socks are the next socks.
Yes. So what we need is the mother of all knit-alongs.
Yes.
A knit-along so huge, it has its own little logo and its own theme tune.
Yes.
And what is this knit-along?
We're going to have a summer of socks knit-along. We think that it would be wonderful if we all knit socks all through the summer, so that come autumn time, when the weather starts turning chilly, we've got a wonderful stack of socks ready and waiting.
And do you know something though that I've established as the weather has started to warm up? I know it's not the case when it's really, really warm, but if you're in like when we did that walk for the Bakery Bears picnic, it was a warm day. I had on wool socks and my walking shoes, and it was lovely.
Well, wool wicks away moisture. It keeps you cool, doesn't it? It's like those shoes.
And it also
I really
gives you
want
lovely,
to try those shoes.
Lovely. It's cushioning and just nice to walk on.
Yeah, well, it's the Allbirds shoes, isn't it? They're only in America, but they're made of merino wool. So, you know, they will keep you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. I think it's amazing. We can't get them here.
Are you talking about shoes now, socks?
I was talking about shoes.
All right, okay.
I'm on this shoe obsession thing, aren't I, at the moment?
The socks I had on in my walking shoes, they were these ones, which we have just established have got holes in. But that's not because I wore them in my walking shoes.
No.
That's because they have been my favourite socks, and I've worn them lots.
You've worn them a lot. It's the Valem Hadriani socks, and I think it is quite a fine fingering, and I knit it on 2.5 mils, which is what I normally knit Dan's, and I think I said to you, I have got another skein of it, and I said I need to knit you some even on maybe 2 mils, which will probably be the death of me knitting socks that big, because I'll probably have to do a 76 stitch cast on rather than 72. But I know you love them.
The Summer of Socks.
So, Summer of Socks knit along. We're going to start it.
Yes.
We thought it would be fun to start it on my birthday.
Yes.
It's my birthday coming up on the 25th of this month.
She's 50. No, you're not.
I am. I feel it. Yeah.
Everyone's 50.
Everybody's 50.
I've noticed that.
So we're going to start it on 25th of May, and it's going to run until the end of August, 31st of August. So that gives you 3 full months, really, doesn't it? June, July, August, which are the summer months, really, aren't they?
Yeah. And what do we have to do?
To knit your socks. Now, you can enter already started socks. I think this is... And I'm putting this rule in for 2 reasons. One, because we had a sock knit along before and we did this, and everybody seemed to love the fact that you could enter socks you'd already started. And also, I've got about 4 pairs on the go. It will motivate me as well to finish.
I also have a pair on the go.
Yeah, to finish those socks. So as long as they're no more than 50% done, so if you knit them one at a time, as long as you've only knit 1 sock and haven't cast on the second.
What if you're doing 2 at a time, okay?
If you're doing 2 at a time, then I would say as long as you're no further than the heel turn on both socks, you're fine, you can enter them. Okay, so I hope that's clear. So if you knit them 1 at a time, as long as you've only knit 1 sock, you can enter them. 2 at a time, no further than the heel turn on both socks.
How many entries can I have?
You can have as many entries as you knit pairs of socks.
Ooh.
So you can have, for each pair of socks you finish, you can have an entry in the FO thread. So if you knit 10 pairs of socks, you can have 10 entries. Also, the other thing we're going to do, which we thought might be fun, towards the end of the knit along, I'm going to open another FO thread, which will be entitled something along the lines of Stack of Socks.
Well, I think you've just given it the title.
Right.
Because
FO
it
thread
is
for your stack of socks.
a stack of socks.
And we thought it might be fun if you stack up, and these are obviously not socks we've just knitted. Sorry, I've got my leg up, my leg's giving me jip.
What I've done is I have got out 4 pairs of socks, and I'm trying to work out my aspirational height for my stack of socks.
Well, I've got 6 pairs of socks here, and when we say stack, this is kind of how we would like you to stack them. Do you know? So you've got your pair of socks here, folded in half, stacked
Which is
up.
really cool. I think that's really cool because when I first laid them out, I laid them out flat.
There'll be nobody doing this to make you stack higher.
You will be disqualified.
You
will
will
be publicly shamed.
You stack ones to look like this. So you've got...
I'm throwing the tape measure around.
You know, so your pair
what
of
I want
socks.
to do...
I'm dropping my stack.
You see,
and then,
what we need to do here is we need to go, right, okay, so I have, how long is it, 3 months?
Yes.
So how many socks do I think realistically I could knit in 3 months? I think, 4 pairs, that would be stretching for me in 3 months.
Yeah.
So that's the perfect target to go for, isn't it? So what we need is, we need to know the height. So,
Gosh, that was loud.
what is the height?
So
the
then
height-
you measure your stack of socks.
My stack of socks
Is-
is 4 inches.
What's mine?
Your stack of socks is 6.5 inches.
Wow.
So, Kate, I think you should go for 7 inches.
Gosh, what? That'll be about 7 pairs of socks.
Do you not think that's achievable?
I don't know. Gosh, I mean, I don't know.
6.5 inches. Well, no, you're on 6.5 now.
But I haven't knit these.
I realise that, but you've got 4 on the go.
I know.
So, you come on,
So-
7 inches, yeah?
Right.
7 inches.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm going for. So that's 4 inches. So I should go for 4.5 inches.
Right.
Yes.
But bearing in mind these ones are your socks that I've knit for you.
Yeah, I realised that, but when they're laid like that,
They might
your
not
socks
be
are my
much.
socks.
Might not be much.
And also,
different.
I do tend to knit with bulkier yarn. when I'm
Yeah,
knitting socks.
the other thing I was going to say is you can knit any weight socks. We want this to be fun and relaxed, and we don't want to put. Stop doing that.
Sorry.
We don't want to put tons of rules on it, you know. So you can knit any weight socks because I enjoy knitting DK weight socks and worsted weight socks and sport weight, you know. So I don't mind, or we don't mind, what weight socks they are.
I'm going to take up a new hobby: knitting super chunky socks.
But the only thing I will say is that we can't really include baby socks. I think that's pushing it a little bit. But, you know, child socks, okay, you know, again, not toddler. Anything, you know, use your judgment.
Should it be
I'm not
everything
gonna
that's
be-
on the adult size scale?
Well, I'm not going to be a stack of socks
Nerd.
policeman woman, you know what I mean? But use your common sense, you know, something really bigger than a toddler sock, anything from, you know, a child upwards. Because for Bryony now, I knit normal size socks, I've discovered recently. I'll talk about that in a bit. So, Summer of Socks Cal, right,
Yeah.
Instagram, hashtag Summer of Socks Cal, K-A-L. And you can crochet socks if you want as well. I know that there are people that crochet socks. So if you know, crochet is entirely welcome if that's your preference. So
And if people want to share their stack as it grows,
yes,
can they share that?
Of course. If you
And
want, yes.
Hashtag that stack of socks.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. I hope that's clear. If it's not, then just message us. But there'll obviously, all this information will be in the thread. I'll start a chatter thread on Ravelry, and all this information will be in there. Okay, so don't worry about having to remember it all.
And that chatter thread will be linked in the show notes.
Okay,
Cool.
brilliant.
So just scroll down, click on
Yeah.
the link, and you'll go straight to the thread which Kay will have set up with all this information.
Yes.
Perfect.
So it starts 25th of May, which is a couple of weeks, I think. So it gives you time to, you know, think about what you're going to do and what your aspirations are and how many you want to knit and what yarns you're going to use and
Work out how big a stack you're going to do.
Yes.
And if there's any sort of intermediate sock knitters out there who want to challenge me to a stack contest, then I'm absolutely up for that. So
You could
Sarah
have-
Hepworth, I'm not playing with you
You do not want to challenge Sarah, honestly.
because
She
you'll
would-
beat me.
She would have a Mount Everest size stack, wouldn't she?
I can't wait to see her stack.
Yes.
You have something to show us.
Yes. So
Another a perfectly exciting thing to go with our Summer of Socks.
yes, so this kind of leads me on to another sock, and it's my sock pattern that will actually be out now. It's been test knit, my lovely test knitters, thank you so much. And here's my finished pair. So this is the 3 Chimneys pattern. If you remember, I only had one sock last time. I have finished my pair now. And like I said, the pattern is out now on Ravelry. There's 2 sizes, 64 and a 72 count. And I think it's very unisex as well. You know, a couple of people have said that, they thought the husband would love that. You know, there's not often you find a pattern that you think will suit, you know, a male. So I'm really pleased that this, I think, is very much unisex. So
And you've got some videos in the pattern too, haven't you?
yes, I've added in a couple of my tutorials that I do for the patrons that I thought might be helpful. So obviously, you know, if you want to knit some 3 Chimney socks for the knit along, then please do so. Like I said, the pattern's out now. And Michelle at Dancing Dog Dye Works will be putting up some pre-orders for this actual yarn. And when I know what date that's going to be, I will let you know, probably on Instagram. I'll just announce it on there that she's put up pre-orders, and I'm sure she will as well on her own Instagram. So lovely, and I'm super pleased with it, with the pattern. I'm really, really happy with how it came out, and I hope you enjoy it if you choose to knit this as part of the knit along.
Maybe I'll try.
Well, you could, darling. It's not tricky. It's just
No.
knit some pearls.
Shall we find out what's on your needles?
Yes.
Do you want to get ready?
I am ready.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, because it's right there.
It's right there.
I didn't even see it. It's because it's so tiny. Is that another pair of socks?
It is another pair of socks.
Before you say anything, Kay Jones, what's on your needles?
Well, I had a bit of a thing. I often have a bit of a thing, don't I? I feel like I say that a lot. Do you know I'm knitting this pair of socks for Bryony, the Nyan cat socks that I showed you last time? And I've knit the first sock. Here it is, actually, and it's beautiful. Came out just so lovely. And I knit a 60 stitch sock because she tried on my 64 stitch socks and they just seemed a little bit big, so I thought I'll go for a 60 stitch sock. Now I did try this on as I was knitting it, and I did think, I don't know if that's a little bit tight, but I was hoping with a wash and a block it'd be okay. So I did wash and block it, and it is much better, and it does fit her, but it just fits. I don't mean the length, because I did add some length onto it. The length was fine, and she had a bit of wiggle room at the end. It was like across here. And I think she's like me, Bryony. I think she's got a wide, I've got quite horribly thick ankles, and I think she's the same. So it was across here, and I just thought, the last thing I want is to knit these socks and then I only wear them, for a couple of months or whatever, because she says they're not very comfortable. And she does seem to like having room in her socks, because she really just wears them at bedtime. I thought about it for a day or two and then made the decision that I was going to have to knit an entire new pair with a 64 stitch count. It's amazing the difference those 4 stitches make, actually. It really does make a huge difference. I have got enough yarn. I weighed my yarn and I've still got 76 grams of the main colour. So I've used 24-ish grams in the first sock. So I know that I'll obviously use more yarn in the second one, but even if I used 35 grams, I'm still going to have enough, so I'm not worried about that. So I have cast on another sock with a 64 count. So I've cast on the second sock. Now this one, it is the second sock. This one I knit magic loop, and I cast this one on magic loop, and it was fine knitting it magic loop, and I enjoyed it. However, I didn't enjoy it as much as I've been enjoying my DPN socks. So I've transferred it this morning onto DPNs, and I thought I'd use wooden ones for this one because I do like wooden needles. So I've only done this much, look. I mean, gosh, you can tell my enthusiasm waning slightly. So I'm using 2.25 Knit Pro Symphonies, which are lovely. I really like these needles, and I thought the rainbowy effect kind of went with the yarn. I'm going to get on with those, and I will get on with them.
Well, you will. Now we're having the summer of socks.
Absolutely. So yeah, I was disappointed. I was obviously disappointed that I'd knit this whole sock, and it's just a little bit small. But what me and Bryony, is that wrong? What Bryony and I decided, I'm telling you, it's changed my life, Nathan. What we've decided is that we're going to use this one as a little Christmas stocking for one of her toys. So I'll put a little hanging loop on it, and she can use that every year as a Christmas stocking. I thought that was quite a cute idea. And then, I know I haven't wasted this. And I could have ripped it out, but I kind of didn't want to. It's too pretty to rip out, isn't it? And I've got enough yarn to knit them again, so I'm not going to rip it out. It's too lovely. So that's my tale of woe, really, for this episode, I think.
You finished?
Yes.
Excellent.
Dan Jones.
What?
What's on your link?
That's a very good link.
Thank you.
Well done. 7.5 out of 10.
I'm never going to get a 10, am I? I think that's quite apparent.
I'm knitting lace. Well, I'm not quite up to the lace point yet.
No, not yet.
But I'm knitting a lace pattern.
Yes.
This is my forfeit from the last round of Knit or Forfeit. I lost, and I had to knit the Speargrass hat by Susie Gawley, which is a free pattern on Ravelry.
Hello,
and
Susie.
It's insanely brilliant. The reason why I say that is I'm experienced in knitting plain ribs. I'm not used to knitting ribs like this, and that's cool because I love it when you get a twist on something like that, you know, where you just think, oh, I'll be off knitting a bit of rib and then I'll be into the interesting stuff. To have a rib that's actually interesting to knit is really cool. I really had to concentrate when I was doing the first round.
It's because she very cleverly gets you to knit the rib so that it then goes into the pattern sections really nicely.
And this yarn was gifted to me.
It was.
By Celtic Cast-On. I was very, very happy to help her with some geeky technical advice with her podcast, and she paid me in yarn, which I'm very pleased with.
And she sent you 2 of those.
She really did. And I was all set to cast the other one on as well, but then we got some amazing yarn from Dreams in Fibre, and I've actually asked people.
Might see it.
Yes.
That's one of them she sent.
Yeah, it is. And I'll quickly mention it now I brought it up, so we don't need to mention it at the end. The Dreams in Fibre there, that's BB8 handspun, and it's truly epic. It's like the perfect handspun ever. And I'm looking for a really good project to knit with it. And at the moment, there's been some good suggestions.
Yeah.
But at the moment, there's nothing that's grabbing me. So if you have any thoughts on what you think I should knit with that,
you've got
then let me know.
270 yards ish, and it's just over 4 ounces. It's a superwash BFL, and obviously it's hand spun, so it's a little bit thick and thin, but I would say, I don't know, is that kind of DK-ish?
It is DK, yeah.
Yeah, DK-ish weight, I think. So you should have seen his little face when I opened this parcel, and Bryony went, "Oh, that's BB8 yarn." So sweet.
So the Speargrass hat, I'm not into the pattern yet. I'm just knitting the rib, but it's really, really interesting.
We have a picture.
I can read the pattern. I can read my knitting now, which is really good. So once you've done that first round, then you're off. And I really like the rib that it's created.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Yeah, it's nice. So that is what's on my needles.
Cool.
Kate Jones, what else is on your needles?
Here it is.
Lovely.
Now this project, because I've finished my poncho, which was in this bag, I've promoted it to my lovely Stitched in Sasha bag, because I love it, Sasha.
Stitched by Sasha.
Stitched by Sasha. As it was, Stitched by Sasha.
You said Stitched in Sasha.
I did not.
You did?
I said Stitched in Sasha. Did I really?
Yeah.
Gosh, that just shows you, doesn't it? You've no idea what you say, really. That's terrible. Sorry, Sasha.
She doesn't mind.
No, because she's lovely. This is my Stitching Time blanket. I'm working on the May block. I started it on May the 1st. And I know there's a few people who just whizzed them out straight away. I think it was Scully Wooly. Like, May 1st, here's the block. And she just finished the entire thing. I haven't. But I'm doing pretty well. So I'm this far in. I've only got 2 more squares to add on. And because May is my birthday month, I've just chose lots of colours that I really love for this one. So lots of the lovely sort of muted shades. I think they're all really pretty. I've got 4 minis from the Wool Barn. These are the corner ones. And then this one, I actually dyed myself. I dyed up some minis as a gift for some of our lovely patrons, and I kept a little bit of it back for me. I love pink and grey together, so I'll put this one in the middle. This was called, I think, Kitty Whiskers. It was one that lovely Amber sent me. Was it Kitty Whiskers, Amber? I think it was. And then, I'm not sure what the other 2 are. But again, they're all these lovely muted shades. So I've got just 2 more to add. And I've got those 2. So another Wool Barn and then just another, I think that's a Red Deer, which I thought was really pretty. And then I'll do the borders and that'll be done. So that won't be long until that's finished. So if you wanted to knit one of these, the Stitching Time blankets, I know you've seen the squares before. I'll just pull one of the squares out that's finished just to show you. That's the December one with the borders on. There is some instructions on my project page on Ravelry. So if you have a look on there, it tells you, you know, stitch counts and just the rough outline. on how I've knit this.
But if you want an in-depth
yes,
range of
yes,
tutorials, then you produced an 8-video series.
it is. Gosh,
Which was published for our $5 plus patrons.
yes.
So that is also available to you as well.
That's that one, I think.
Excellent.
Yes.
I'm knitting some socks for the Summer of Socks, Cal.
No, because it hasn't started.
Oh.
Well, yes, you'll be able to enter that.
Because they won't be yes, and there's no way this will be finished by
even
the time.
if you finish a whole sock before November,
Which is not going to happen.
It might.
Oh, it might. So I might have to pause. I will pause.
It might.
Because I'm not going to cheat.
This cake
Thank
looks
you.
ginormous, doesn't it? Why does
Cakes
it
are
look so
ginormous.
massive?
I like ginormous cakes.
It looks huge.
It is opal, isn't it?
It is.
That you got from your stash, didn't you?
I did.
Yes. When I decided, I was going to do DPN socks, so I will have to do that, which I must admit I am slightly worried about. But you also say that that is easier in many aspects with regards to the knitting of socks.
I think so. It can be. Yeah, people can find it easier. It's a
So-
personal choice, and I think you should just have a go at both and decide which you like.
Yeah, well,
I
I
like alternating between the two.
need to do that, and I will. So one of my socks for the Summer of Socks, Cal, will be DPN socks.
Cool.
Maybe I should do those on DPNs. Or not.
Oh no,
Okay.
I wouldn't be that ambitious.
I won't be doing that then. But here we are. And the yarn is very, very nice. And the needles are Chiago needles.
Gone now, the ball band.
And it is...
It's one of the opal Wintermond ones,
Yeah.
isn't it? I think it's called Solstice. I think summer solstice, maybe.
but it's opal, and it's just the best
Yeah.
for sock knit, and I really love it. The colours are really nice, and there's really good stitch definition. And it's a twisted. That's a twisted rib.
It is a twisted
Yes,
rib.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot for not being able to spot that straight.
Could you hold it up clearly? Because you're in the middle of a row, aren't you? Which is
I
a
am
bit
in the middle of a row.
naughty.
Well, I expected you to go longer than 3 minutes on
Oh
your last
gosh,
project.
right. Agreed. You sometimes tell me off for waffling, so maybe.
Well, I think you've taken it to the other extreme now.
Okay.
There you go.
I should take my time on the next one.
Oh no, it'll be dark. So yeah, it's lovely. The needles are really nice. It's much easier knitting socks with these needles than knitting with the Knit Pro.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great.
Cool.
What else is on your needles?
Well, it might be another sock. You can see there is a theme. Gosh, this is an exciting sock. I think it was Sunday night, I just said to Dan, oh gosh, I don't really feel like I want to knit something, but I don't really feel like knitting anything that I've got on the go at the minute. And I was in a bit of I was a bit fed up with myself. So Dan just said, well, why don't you just go and pull out a really, really pretty skein of something and just knit something fun, start something new. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll do that. So I went upstairs to my little room, and this is another skein that came from lovely Erica. And this one, it's Superwash BFL again, and it's called Bloom, the colourway. And again, it's about 270 yards. So I thought, it's difficult to work out, isn't it, with my hand spun, what needle size to use if you're going to knit socks. And I thought about it for quite a while, and I decided that because I thought this was probably about Sport DK, but with some thinner spots in it, I thought I'd try a 2.75mm needle and a 56 stitch count. Thought, well, I'll give it a go and see how that comes out, because I know with a DK weight, 48 stitches fits me really well. So I thought, right, if it's a sport weight, and I use 64 stitches for fingering, so 56 is kind of in the middle, isn't it? So I went with that. So I've got 2.75mm needles and a 56 stitch count, and it's worked out perfectly. And then I cast it on at about 7:30 on Sunday evening, and I finished it Tuesday morning, the first sock. I just knit on this, I couldn't stop knitting it. So here's the first sock. Oh, look, isn't it lovely? I love it. I ummed and ahed about whether to put in a contrast heel, and the reason I decided to was because once I started knitting with it, I could see it's it's not distinct stripes, but there's like a gradation. Is that a word?
It is now.
Oh, gradation. I think I've totally made up that word. Of the colour. And I didn't want it to suddenly... Do you know how with... it made me think of the Zauberball. Do you know Crazy Zauberball?
Yeah,
sometimes... No, I don't. You know what happens
You'll
when I try
offend-
to do accents.
You'll offend half the world.
I know. With the Crazy Zauberball, if you carry on sometimes with the heel flap and pick up and then start again, you can get like a very distinct line because it does kind of have a gradient look, and I didn't want that to happen with these because I thought, I didn't know when this colour was going to change, and I didn't want to have a line, a distinct line of that up here kind of thing. So I thought, right, no, I'm going to put in a contrast heel. And then that was on a whole other dilemma, because I thought, right, if I'm presuming this is kind of like sport weight, I needed something similar for the heel. So I had a look through my stash, and in the end I've used some Debbie Bliss Baby Cash Merino, because that is classed as a sport weight, and it's got quite a lot of acrylic in it. It's got 33% acrylic, so I thought, well, that'll be nice and strong for the heel, won't it? And it's merino wool, acrylic, and then a little bit of cashmere. So I thought, right, okay, I'll use that. And I had this colour, which is kind, I thought that, that's pretty good. A pretty good match. It worked. It didn't really like being knit at such a tight gauge. It was quite a struggle. I think actually it's more like a DK than it is a sport. It's probably a light DK rather than a true sport weight, I think, this. It's quite, it's very bouncy, it's quite poofy. So I think that's why it maybe looks...
I think we established that... Is it floofy?
Floofy. It is quite floofy.
There we go.
Yeah, but I kind of forced it to knit it on a 2.75mm, and I think actually it's okay. It is thicker than the rest of the fabric, but again, I think that'll be a good thing for the socks, because the heel might not have worn quite so well if I'd have carried on knitting it in this hand spun, just because of the little spots where it's a bit thinner, the yarn, which I love. It's like, Dan always says, doesn't he, with hand spun, how lovely it is, because it's textural, isn't it? And just look how I just think it's so pretty how that's knit up. I'm so thrilled with it. Thank you so much, Erica. I absolutely loved knitting it, and I've started the second one. I cast it on straight away. I've only got a little nubbin of a cuff.
What precisely is a nubbin?
A little nubbin, just a little bit.
Answers on a postcard.
That's a word.
Is it?
Yes. So I just love this project, and it really. I think we all get into like a slump, don't we, with our knitting, and where you don't want to knit anything really, and you think, okay, I'll just have a break and I won't knit anything. But that's not necessarily the right thing to do, I think. I think sometimes maybe if you just go to your stash like I did, and maybe use a skein that you've been kind of hoarding because it's so lovely, and just knit something purely for the fun of it. And this was just purely for the fun of it. And I because it's 56 stitch count, I have knit a sock with 56 stitches before. Dan's Star Wars socks, those massive worsted weight ones, I used 56 stitches. And actually, by coincidence, Erica gave me a little recipe for the toe decreases for 56 stitches. I have got it written down somewhere, but at the time I was doing the toe decreases, it was like 5:30 in the morning or something, and I didn't want to go rummaging through my room making noise, so I just made up one as best I could, and I think it's okay. It came out quite nice and rounded. I think it's worked out fine. So
what else is on my needles?
That's a beautiful yarn. I didn't show you the yarn in the cake, and I've got plenty left for the second one. So lovely, and I can't enter this, can I? So, but I've got to. No, I'll finish this one before the.
What do you mean? You said no as if you're like no. It's like
it's my rule. Yeah. No, I can't enter this, but I will have finished it by then anyway, so it's fine. I do have another skein of handspun that Zena gave me a while ago, and it's beautiful, and that's BFL, I'm pretty sure, as well. I might be knitting socks with that.
It's not that pooly stuff, is it?
No.
Oh, right, okay.
No, some handspun, I just
Oh,
said.
cool.
She handspun from
Sorry.
Zena. And I've been hoarding that, so I might have to knit socks in that too.
Zena, who of course has an Etsy shop and is selling yarn now.
Zena's Etsy shop opened yesterday. It's called Little Yellow Uke on Etsy. It's linked in her Instagram profile if you want to find it. I did make a little purchase.
I'll also link it in the Knit or Forfeit show notes section at the bottom.
I didn't tell you, but you might not have noticed I was in the bath longer last night. I don't know if you noticed or not. You probably didn't.
Well, you did look particularly shriveled when you came out.
But I went in the bath about 10 to 7 last night, and her Etsy shop was opening at 7 o'clock last night. And as I was getting in the bath, I'm thinking, I'm going to miss it, and I didn't want to, I thought it was just all going to go, and I didn't want to miss it. So I sat in the bath, right? I didn't put my hands in the bath or anything. I sat down in the bath and I got my iPad here out of the bath. And I just sat there for like 10 minutes waiting for the Etsy shop to open.
That's shocking.
So that's how dedicated I was, Zena. I shriveled up in the bath waiting, and I did get a couple of lovely skeins, so I'll show you that next time.
It is my entry into, although it won't be finished in time, so it won't be an entry, and I can't enter anyway because it's my cow. It's a double knitting cow. And I've been gobsmacked, actually. We only launched it on the last.
Yeah.
And Kay said, there'll be like 2 of you. And
don't say that I said that. Nathan, I didn't say that.
I mean, there's loads of people. It's so great. I don't feel like I'm all on my own, which is so cool. And here is my progress on the Vanishing Point hat by Nathan Taylor. It's in Knit by Numbers. And as we established last time, it is extremely floofy.
That is the definition of floof.
It has
yarn.
A halo, as you said.
It's very halo-y.
It looks like it's physically growing a hair.
It does. It's very. I cannot believe how fluffy
comb
that
it.
is.
The pattern is excellent, and it's great fun to knit, and it's really rewarding seeing what you're doing come to life. I haven't made any mistakes yet.
No, and you've been knitting on it every night.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only thing about double knitting is you have to be committed to want to do it.
You have to be committed. That sounded wrong, doesn't it? You've got to be mad.
You have to be committed to knit double knitting, I think. I'm certainly having to be committed. It's not
a long process,
it's not
isn't it?
I don't mean it's a chore. It's not a chore because I wouldn't do it if I didn't want to do it. So I do want to do it, and the reason why I'm committed to it is, as I've said now a couple of times, it's having a marked effect on my other knitting. It's making me a more discerning knitter, I think, as well. I'm being more picky about the yarn I'm using. I think because it's raising your knowledge of knitting as an art form, and I do believe it's something that everyone should try. And when I say try it, I don't just mean just having one little go. Do it, really do a proper project, and then at the end of it you can then make an informed decision as to whether it's for you or not. If it's not for you, you will have had the benefit of the brain power that has to go into this. It's nuts, really, because it's constantly working my head.
Yeah.
Which is really good for the type of knitting that I like, which is that total switch off, constant brain engaged. It's another reason why I like the rib of the speargrass. I love it, where your brain is properly engaged in something and it can't fill with other stuff. And that, that is interesting that I mentioned that brain filling with other stuff, because I saw a very interesting post by Pearl of the Pacific quite recently, and she was talking about mental awareness, and it did just really strike a chord with me. But I think it's particularly pertinent at the moment with UK, and me to an extent as well. Mental health is just not spoken about, is it? And
no.
also in this country, in the UK, the way that GPs deal with it, they're just not equipped to. But what's interesting is the government has just awarded a massive amount of cash, millions.
Yeah.
And I know, I'd heard in a newspaper report somewhere or other about this, and I know that people are very happy about this, and it's something that I think a lot of people suffer with, don't they? And
Absolutely.
they suffer in silence.
You do, and I think it's because...
And I think you suffer in silence, actually, because where do you go for help?
Well, I think it's partly that, but I think, you know, from my experience, I think it's kind of like you feel embarrassed about it as well. And you don't really want to, you know, it's difficult to talk about something when you feel embarrassed about it, I think. And I've really, really, really struggled these past few weeks. And it's just, it is really, really horrible thing to go through. And you kind of feel, you know, it's not something where you can just take a painkiller, you know, and because you know, and obviously there are medications which I'm not going down that route at all, but because it is something that you know that, or for me, I know that I can't just take a Nurofen and I'll feel better. It's really, really, it's such a horrible thing to deal with, I think. And it's when I think the fear of telling other people as well is that you worry that they won't understand. And I've experienced that as well.
See, the
recently.
thing is, though, you don't have to. I think the most important thing, with it is having someone. I mean, luckily, I've got Kay.
And I've got you, and we do.
Having someone who, I think, so long as you're talking to someone, then that's a start.
Yes, and I have got friends as well that I talk to that's really, really helpful. And I think sometimes just, even if you can't physically talk to someone, you know, even if you email them or, you know, you text them, because sometimes it's difficult to talk, you know, you get emotional and it's really hard. But I think just maybe putting it down on paper kind of thing is really helpful as well, because you get that emotion out.
I think that the most important thing for you to know out there is, if you are suffering, don't think that you're alone.
No.
Because you're not.
You're really not.
And, you know, I'm speaking very personally on behalf of Kay and myself here. And I think when you're sat there and you are suffering and you're looking at people who you think are fine, I think sometimes it can feel very lonely, because you think, well, I can guarantee you, when you are talking to people who you know personally, there will be more than you dare to imagine who are in the same position as you. So you're not alone. We all fight with it every day. For me, I don't know about UK, but for me it feels like every day you have forks in the road, and you know if you take the left-hand fork, it's not going to be good. And sometimes you just get drawn down it. And do you know what, when that happens...
Well, sometimes you just fall down it and you just can't help it, you know, and you shouldn't feel guilty for that either. And one of the things I really struggle with is guilt, and I think that is very common, you know, that you get those feelings of guilt.
I think that what's very important, though, is if you do find yourself falling down a dark path, is admitting to yourself that that's happening, and then taking positive steps, even if it's one tiny positive action, to pull you back into the light. It's suddenly gone all Star Wars. That's enough deep mental stuff. I hope that's a new project.
Sorry, no.
Well, where is the new project?
It's right there in front of me.
Well, get ready, because I'm about to do the link.
I am, but I couldn't knit on that because the rows are too long.
What?
The rows are too long.
It's a sock.
No, not that. This.
In that tiny bag? Ah, I see what you mean.
Yes.
Kay Jones, what else is on your needles?
Well, I thought I'd show you my shawl, my lovely Holbrook shawl. I really, really want to have this done for when we go away. It's the end of July. I really, really want to have this done, and that seems completely doable. I mean, it's not even the end of May yet, is it? But yes, I really, really want to have this done because it reminds me of Chatsworth, you know, the goldenness, and I just think it's the perfect weight of shawl to have in the summer, you know, in case there are some chilly nights, because we are in the UK. So here's my lovely Holbrook shawl, and I'm there, and I'm pretty sure that it's a bit bigger than when you last saw it, and I'll try and open up the lace. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's so nice. I do see like little pine cones when I look at it. It's really, really lovely. And it's more of, it's more golden than that. It looks a bit kind of yellow on there. It's more golden. So I'm not sure how many repeats I've done now. I think I've done about 14 or 15, and I need to get to 20 before I start the border. So maybe what I'll do is try and get to 20. Maybe I'll start setting myself little goals, because I do like having little goals, not huge ones, but little goals that I find quite motivating. So maybe I'll try and get to the end of the 20 repeats by the next podcast. That seems doable, doesn't it? So I'm knitting this in the Malabrigo sock, which is lovely, and this is ochre, and I've got 2 skeins of this. I find it difficult to move in the poncho. I feel restricted. So it's that way, isn't it? It's ochre, and it's beautiful, and I love it. I can't fault this yarn so far. I'm not finding anything to say about it that's negative. And I'm knitting this on my lovely Chow Goose. This is a fixed red lace, and I love them, absolutely love them. And I am still thinking about whether I want to buy a set of interchangeables. I can't decide, or whether I just enjoy working on the fixed ones. I think at the moment I still really like just the fixed. It's quite a big investment. I think it's like £75 for a set of interchangeables. So I'm still thinking about that.
I've finished thinking about it.
Yeah, Dan's thinking, I'm not buying you that. That's way too expensive. Yeah, I know. I think sets before that I've bought of interchangeables might have been £40-ish, something like that. So it's quite a lot more. But I know how much I love, the fixed ones and the DPNs, and the fact that I love them so much. I don't know, maybe it might have to be a Christmas present. But at the moment I've not found that I need, because I've got a 4.5mm, 4mm and 3.75mm in the 32-inch length. And that's quite a good range, for shawls. Usually it's one of those sizes that you need when I knit a shawl. So I think I'll probably be okay just sticking with the fixed ones, I think.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm really loving it, and I know a few people are knitting this as well. So I would say it's the Holbrook shawl by D. O'Keefe. It's a paid-for pattern on Ravelry, but it's well worth the money, definitely.
It's time then for our special podcast anniversary live Knit or Forfeit.
Yay.
It's worked out perfectly, I think. It's the first time we've ever been able to do this live. It's a special episode, and I forgot to say at the start, make sure you stick around for the play-out music today. I shall say nothing more. I don't mean the play-out music on Knit or Forfeit. I mean the play-out music on the show. I'll say nothing more at this stage. I'll tell you more about it later.
It's amazing.
Don't miss it. So it's time for our special podcast anniversary first round of Knit or Forfeit between Kay and Zena, which was filmed live in Derbyshire a few weeks ago. Thank goodness we did that.
It seems such a long time ago.
So it is 6 questions of knitting, 4 questions on Downton Abbey. Let's go over to, what was the name of the cottage?
Park Cottage.
Let's go over to Park Cottage on the Chatsworth estate and enjoy the round. Yes! And we're in a very special
Yay! Not the yarn!
in
I'll give it away. Face will say.
So, whilst this is going to be over 2 episodes, you won't run out of wins for the next we're going to find out today. So, what is it? Thank you. Yes, it's the final round of our Knit or Forfeit season for 2016. Yes, and we're in a very special place. We're in a thatched cottage in Derbyshire, and for the first time ever, and I'm not going to show you who it is yet, although you may know if you've been following closely, we're actually filming live. How exciting is that? Whilst this is going to be over 2 episodes, so you won't find out who wins until the next Knit or Forfeit, we're going to get to find out today. So we're very excited. So, knit or forfeit, what is it? It's a quiz, of course, for those who haven't seen before. We've got 6 questions on knitting, and we have 4 questions on a specialist subject. And the specialist subject today I'm particularly excited about because it's drumming heroes of the 1960s. No, it's not. It's not at all. It's Downton Abbey. Yes! Now, I am excited about that, and I'm going to be answering on at home. I don't know if you are, but I think you should. There are, of course, 3 lifelines. There is 50/50, there is Ask Instagram, and there is also Text a Friend. So if you're struggling on any question, you can use a lifeline. But remember, if you use a lifeline and you use more lifelines than your competitor, then you will, of course, lose. And that's what happened to poor Tilly the last time Kay played. She got 9 out of 10, and so did Kay, but Kay used less lifelines. So watch those lifelines, ladies. Who are the ladies? It is, of course, the wonderful Kay and Zena. Nitty Natta Zena is sat next to me. I can't believe it. It's amazing, Kay, isn't it?
It is amazing.
Because we used to sit and watch Zena.
We do still.
Yeah.
Don't watch her anymore.
That's so
That
funny.
sounded terrible.
And then, yeah. Nitty Natta, that finished, and then I'm not interested. This little yellow uke thing. What's that all about?
She's got a snake.
Where is your
I'm not
ukulele?
gonna watch her. She's got a snake.
I was going to bring one.
I nearly bought it, and I thought no, because I
Oh,
don't
Brian-
have to play it.
Oh, Bryony could have
She
played.
totally.
Yeah,
She'll never play for us, though,
No,
Bryony,
she
will she?
won't,
She's
no.
terrible. So what can you play on?
Not a lot.
Oh, I've not heard that. Hum it and I'll play along. Nice.
That is me at the beginning of my podcast, though. Playing a few
Is
little
it?
chords. Yeah.
I thought you'd got that on
No,
iTunes or
that's
something.
me.
You get all the
Wow.
scoops, don't you, on the Baker Best
Get all the inside info.
How exciting. Give us more gossip, Zena. No. Should we get on with the show? Do you want to
Shall
see
we?
who wins? Yes. So I'll get out of the way, ladies, and you can get on with it.
So we're going to get straight on with the questions. We've got, as Dan said, we've got 6 questions on knitting and 4 questions on Downton. And I've been watching Downton for the past 3 months. Have you been watching it as well?
In my sleep, I think.
I know. I've literally been watching it every minute. I've been like putting on an episode. But there are a couple of specials that weren't on Prime. So, it's just going to be my luck, isn't it, that I'll get those. Right, we're going to plough straight in. Question 1. What? We're both really nervous. Can you tell we're not used to doing this whole face-to-face thing?
Excitement as well, isn't it?
We're all a bit overawed by it. Okay, what pattern did you put into your queue on Ravelry on the 22nd of January 2014?
2014.
The answers will help you. The
Okay.
answers will help you.
Okay.
Okay, so 22nd of January 2014.
2 years ago.
A. Is it the Jewelled Cowl by Sashiko Umura?
I'm glad you pronounced that, not me.
That's completely butchered that name, but you know which pattern that is. Is it B. Leavenwick by Gudrun Johnston? Is it the Ricky Hat by Sarah Young? Or is it the Purple Rain Hat by Dawn Cotton? Cotton with an E on the end.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Jewelled Cowl, Leavenwick, Ricky Hat, Purple Rain Hat. Do any of them jump out? at
And,
you?
well, I think they all might be in my queue. Well, they all might have been in my queue at one point. It's not the Purple Rain Hat, because
Okay.
that's only recently gone in,
Right.
I think. So it's not that one.
Yeah.
It's down to 2.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell you which 2.
Okay,
in case
don't
I
tell
go
me.
for 50.
I'll give it away. My face will say.
I am going to go with the Jewelled Cowl.
Jewelled Cowl.
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
Don't do this.
Is that your final answer? I'm like Chris Tarrant.
I feel like the lights have gone down. It's either the Jewel Cowl or the Ricky Hat. I think. I don't know whether the Leavenwick's been in my queue that long. I don't know. I should really know my own cue, shouldn't I? Oh, hang on. Because the 11 week went in after I'd bought some yarn.
Okay.
I'm going to change. I'm going to go
Okay.
with 11 week.
11 weeks.
Yes.
You're going 11
Yes.
weeks.
I
Final
am.
answer.
Yes.
Is she right? She knows her cue. Yay! Yippee! Oh, well done. That was tricky, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
And I will tell you, I'll let you in on something. I didn't write that question. It was Mr. Jones wrote that question.
Mr. Jones.
I thought that was too tricky. I had words. I
We're
did
going
have
to be here all
words.
day if I take that long and everything.
I did have words. Okay, I think that's the trickiest.
Okay, and breathe.
Question 2. On the 1st of October 2014, you reappeared as Little Yellow You Crafts. What was the first project you showed on your new show? Was it A, the Little Spring Hoodie by Suvi Simola, B, the Rippon Hat by Rachel Coopy, C, the Beedale Hat by Rachel Coopy, or D, the Lefty by Martina Beam?
Don't think it was the lefty. Could have been the Little Spring Hoodie because I knit that for...
I don't know that pattern.
It's a hoodie. Surprisingly enough.
So it's not for a child then?
It is a child.
Oh, right,
yeah.
it's a childhood.
But I knit it for Sam's birthday.
Right. Oh, I think I remember now you said that.
And that's October.
Right.
So it could have been that.
Yeah.
And it could have been the hats because I was knitting those for Christmas, but I don't think I knit them.
I've not knit either of those hats actually. I've got the book. Well, phoning a friend won't help, will it? Unless they're going to quickly watch back that episode.
Watch my first episode. I'm going to go with the Little Spring Hoodie.
The Little Spring Hoodie
Yes.
by Suvi Simola.
Yes.
Is she correct? Oh no. Oh no! It's the Lefty!
Was it really?
Well, yes, apparently. It was the Lefty.
Oh, that was the first one I discounted.
Oh, and I've never knit the Lefty
well.
either. All those little things. I
Yeah.
thought I might get a bit. Does it get a bit?
It was okay.
Was it?
Yeah, there's lots of ends to it.
I know, I thought
'cause
that.
you can't carry the yarn.
Yeah. Oh no, everybody.
Oh no.
Oh.
Pressure's on.
Don't worry. That'll be the only one.
You said this was easy, don't say that again. Don't say you'll know this one again.
You will. You'll know this one. You will definitely know this one. Because even I knew this one and I didn't really know it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So, okay. Question 3. Who designed the Sunnyside cardigan? Was it A, Lara Neal, B, Hannah Fettig, C, Tanis Lavelli, or D, Tinkan Knits? I thought it was Tanis Lavelle. Dan might have written that wrong. Tanis, is it Lavelle or Lavelli? I'm not sure.
I can't remember, but
But
funnily
you know
enough,
which one I mean.
this flashed up on my time hop
Oh,
today
no.
because I was knitting it this time
Oh!
last year, I think it must have been, and it's Tanis Lavelli.
Yay! I'm not going to hold back. Yes! Yippee! Well done. And I just recognised that from just seeing the pattern, I think. I've never knit it. But...
Well, I think isn't it Tanis Fibre Arts?
Yes.
Yeah.
And her
Yeah.
yarn's beautiful. I
Yeah.
have got a skein of that somebody sent me. It's beautiful. Oh, thank goodness. Yay! Okay. Question 4. You see, we're nearly halfway through. Oh, you're gonna. When I say this project, you're gonna go. Oh. You are currently crocheting the Babette blanket.
Oh.
The Blanket of Doom by Kathy Merrick.
Yes.
Which of these patterns is also
Oh.
by Kathy Merrick? Okay, A, the Dragon's Rest shawl, B, the Raymar scarf, that's Ramar, C, the flax jumper, or D, the Longstone socks?
Well, it's not the Dragon's Rest shawl, and it's not the flax jumper.
Okay. Excellent ruling out.
What were the other two again?
The Raymar scarf and Longstone socks. Will you ever finish that blanket?
Every year, I think.
Is it not big enough to just have as a blanket now?
No, because I've done it in Mark have done all the big squares,
Yeah.
and then so
And
I
you
haven't
did
got,
teeny tiny one. Oh.
every year I think I'll finish it for Christmas and give it to Mum and Dad, and
No, I've done it.
still sitting.
It was meant to go on the back of your sofa because it matched the colours.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Is that right?
I think I want to be shot of it when I'm done. Right,
So Raymar scarf or Longstone socks?
I am going to guess at the Raymar scarf.
What do you think? Is everybody shouting it? You've all looked it up, haven't you, on Ravelry? You've quickly had a little sneaky look. It is the Raymar scarf! Yay! Excellent guess. Well, I didn't know the answer, but I just presumed if she's a crocheter that it wouldn't be socks, because
Yeah.
that's uncommon, isn't
Yeah,
it, for crocheted
yeah.
socks? I know you can do them,
Yeah.
but... Okay, question 5. We are officially halfway through.
Okay.
Which small and hardy sheep breed...
Oh dear. I should have read my book
Should have,
last
I
night.
know, and I didn't either. So, which small and hardy sheep breed with fleece that is usually used by hand spinners and weavers is renowned for its good mothering ability? Oh no, I said that. Oh, must be a lovely sheep. And is born with black fleece that changes to a natural colour from about 2 weeks old.
I thought you said black fleas.
Oh, I hope not. And it's born with a black fleece that changes to a natural colour from about 2 weeks old. That must be so cute. Is it A, the Manx Lockton, B, the Shetland Coloured, C, the grey-faced Dartmoor, or D, Masham? Now remember, you've still got your 50-50
fibre book. I know.
and you've got your Instagram.
Yeah, I'm going to go 50-50.
Okay, 50-50. So let's take away 2 and it leaves you with Manx Lockton and Masham.
Oh.
That doesn't
So
help.
not the two that I was expecting.
Oh, right. Oh. Well, that should help you then if it weren't the 2 you're expecting, or not. I don't know.
I don't think I've really heard much of the Manx Lockton. I've heard of Masham, but I don't know whether that is used in weaving.
I know you can get Masham yarn.
Let's go Masham.
Masham.
Yes.
Is that your final answer?
I've no idea because it's a guess.
Masham, Zena's final answer.
Yes.
It's Manx Lockton. Oh, no! I was distracted by the weather. All of a sudden, it's just pouring down. Oh, it's Manx Lockton. I didn't know that either, so I wouldn't have got that. I wouldn't have got that, but it sounds very cute. There'll be people that were yelling it at the screen, I'm sure.
Let's hope I know more about Downton Abbey than I do about Lytton.
Question 6, last knitting question.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
I do knit.
Oh,
honestly.
you're gonna know. You're totally gonna know this. No, you are absolutely 100% gonna know this. Which knitting designer released the Even Star shawl? You see, she's breathing a sigh of relief. In February 2010, inspired by Arwen's Even Star from Lord of the Rings. I didn't know that.
Did you know
I didn't know that.
It's part of the collection.
I didn't know that. Never seen. No, I've not read for Lord of the Rings, and you see, I'm not really into that whole. I'm out of the loop, I
It
think.
takes as long to watch the films as it does to knit the shawl.
And you still haven't finished that shawl, young lady.
You're bringing up all my
Not finished it.
long-standing whips, you know that, don't
So
you?
she's going to get it out when she gets home now. Going, okay, it's took me off. I've got to knit this edging. Okay, is it A, Susan Pollard? No idea who that is. Sue Pollard.
Oh, she was a Heidi High. Heidi
I
High.
don't think it's Sue Pollard. I think Mr. Jones has thrown that one in there for giggle factor. Is it B, Susan Pandorf? Is it C, Susan Gawley? Lovely Susan. Or is it D, Susan Pandoff? Ah,
I am going with B, Susan Pandorf.
Pandorf. Of course it's Susan Pandorf. Oh, yay! So that's all the knitting exciting questions.
Yes.
I can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief. And is this a good point to talk about our forfeits?
Oh, yes.
Shall we
let's
talk
do
about our
that.
forfeits?
Yeah.
So, do you want to do yours first? She's so mean. That is all I'm saying.
I thought it was about time to revive the Pooley yarn. So I've brought this,
She's even brought the yarn.
which I'm hoping it will pool. It looks to me
It looks like it
as
will
if
pool.
it's
It
going to
looks
be
dreadfully
pretty
poorly.
poorly.
But it's very pretty yarn.
well, it is. It's pretty colours.
It's
so I
lovely
thought
colours.
That
would help. Yes.
So, should you lose,
Don't say that.
you can choose
I'm
what you
knitting.
knit.
Oh, so kind. And I've never
Socks
knit
or a
with
hat,
this.
I would think.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well.
a sockhead hat.
That's even worse. You tell me I've got to knit a sockhead. Sockhead hat of doom. Oh my gosh. I vowed never to knit another one of those. Oh, it's beautiful yarn. It's how do you say that? You see, I say Araucania. Is that what you say?
Yeah.
I've heard it pronounced so differently, but I think it's Araucania. It's beautiful colours. Oh, right. And mine for you is a similar theme. And I remember Zena saying at one point that she loathed and detested knitting socks on DPNs. Is this correct?
It is correct. It is correct.
So look what I've brought just as a demonstration. Look, it's socks on DPNs. And I was going to bring you some DPNs and I forgot to bring some, but you do have some.
I do have some. Yeah, I do have some.
So she's actually already prepared. But what I might do, if obviously you have to do this, is I might send you some of these because I love these needles. I've just tried them, the Chiagus.
Oh, I've not
They're
tried any
nice.
Chiagos.
They're really, really nice. I really like them. We've both been avidly watching Downton for months. It's kind of in my brain. The theme tune goes round and round and round in my brain. And I see Lady Mary in my sleep. And question, I've numbered these 1, 2, 3, 4. It's number 7, isn't it? Question 7 then.
Yeah.
Whose is the first face that we see in the first episode of season 1? Is it A, the lovely Anna? Oh, she's had a hard time. Poor girl, honestly. Oh, you just wanted to have a lovely time by the end of it, don't you? Please don't let that baby, just be fine. Oh. Is it B, Mr. Bates? Is it C, Mrs. Patmore? Or is it D, Mr. Carson? He's got the lowest voice in the world.
No, I don't think it's Mr. Bates because I don't think you see his face. I think you might see his feet because I think he's walking to the abbey.
Right.
Now, the opening sequence is them getting ready in the morning, isn't it? And it's very hustle and bustle and it's very busy because I was amazed when I rewatched the first episode how many servants they'd got.
Yeah,
it kind
loads.
of went back to the house being
Yeah.
kind of really busy.
Yeah. It's a horrible question.
It is a horrible question. It is a horrible
I
question.
thought it was quite a good one. Yes. Quite a well-known one. I don't know. I feel really bad now. You could do a phone. You could do an Instagram thing.
I could. Mr. Bates does come into the first episode and he does cause a bit of a rumpus. I'm going to go with Mr. Bates.
Mr. Bates. Final answer. It is Mr. Bates. You were all shouting, weren't you? Mr. Bates is sat on the train. On the train right at the very beginning. Because the first scene is the telegraph thing, isn't it? Because they're telling them about the Titanic. And then it cuts to Mr. Bates on the train. And then you're right, he does walk up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I was sweating there for a minute. Question 8. When Lady Sybil eloped with Tom to Gretna Green, who went after her and brought her back?
Okay.
She's looking more confident about this one. Is it A, was it Anna and Mary? Was it B, Anna and Edith? Was it C, Anna, Mary and Edith? Or was it D, Mary and Edith?
Oh, that's a mean one. I think it was the two sisters. I think it was Mary and Edith.
And Edith.
Yeah.
And no one else. What do you think? Can you picture the scene of them going in the car?
Well, Edith would have driven
Edith would have driven.
because Mary didn't drive.
No.
So it's either Mary and Edith or Mary, Edith and Anna.
So what do you think? Still not used your
No, I
Instagram?
think I might go with all three of them.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
All three?
Yes.
So she's going with C, Anna, Mary and Edith. Is she right, everybody? You're all shouting whether she's right. Yes, she is right! Yay! Oh, yes! Oh, number 9. We're nearly there. We're nearly there.
I can really relax.
This one might be horrible.
Okay.
Okay, number 9. You need to help her. You need to send Downton Abbey positive thoughts. What relation was Matthew Crawley to Lady Mary? Was she first cousin?
No.
Second cousin? Third cousin once removed? I don't even know what that means. Neither do I. Or fourth cousin?
Well,
I
it was
had
a little bit distant.
Yes,
It definitely wasn't first cousin. Definitely not. But for him to be her second cousin, he would have had to have been Lord Grantham's first cousin, which isn't right either because his sister doesn't have any... No, I don't think it was that close, was it? Because he's never spoken about an uncle or an aunt. And I think he would have known of Matthew if he was if he was Lord Grantham's first cousin.
Yeah.
This is mean. This is really
No, I
mean.
know. I had to look this up, I must admit, to find out. I had to look on a Downton thingy.
Oh,
to
you've
find
been
out.
researching.
Oh, I do. You know, websites and all sorts.
I think I'm going to go with the one that I don't know what it means.
Are you sure?
I'm sure once removed is by marriage.
Right.
I don't know. That's just
I
a bit
don't
of
know, but that sounds right to
So
me.
if it was once removed, would he still have the Crawley
Crawley name.
I think because he's got the Crawley name,
Yeah.
and I think that once removed is something to do with marriage.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with fourth cousin.
Yay! It's fourth cousin. Gosh, I hope I got that right when I looked it up. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, fourth cousin makes
It's
sense,
on the
doesn't
paper.
it?
We'll
It's
go
on the,
with what's on the paper.
I've written it down, so it must be right. Yay!
Oh.
Fourth cousin. Excellent work.
This is the last one.
It's the last question. I'm going to have to get Zena a drink when I finish this.
wrong,
I know. Okay, last question.
Okay.
During the London season Christmas special.
Oh, yes. I liked that one.
Oh, excellent. Who said,
Oh.
little marks, I sometimes feel we should make more scenes about things that really matter to us. Is it A, Lady Mary, B, Lady Edith, C, Lady Rose, or D, the Dowager Countess?
I don't think it's Lady Rose.
Okay.
And I don't think it's Lady Mary. And although the Dowager makes some excellent one-liners,
She
I don't
does.
think that's one of hers.
It's not quite.
It's not quite cutting.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, is this when Edith was going through a bit of a troubled time? Would she have
Which
said
is most
that?
of the time, poor girl. Don't you think? Poor Edith. So something must have been going on that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if this was when Lady Edith was fighting against her aunt and the Dowager,
Right.
Ruth Marigold. I'm going Lady Edith.
Are you sure you're going Lady Edith?
Yes. Yes.
You're 100% positive that you
Don't
want
ask
to
me.
go with Lady Edith. Okay, final answer is Lady Edith. It was Lady Mary. Oh no! It was Lady Mary.
Oh well.
Oh, so 7. Was that 7 out
It
of
was
10
7.
then?
Yeah, it was 7.
So it's excellent work because the questions were very, very tough. We've got to say they were tough, weren't they? I think they were very hard questions, and
Thanks to
I'm
Mr.
fearing
Jones.
that. Mr. Jones did have an input in the knitting questions, and we're now going to go and beat him severely. He certainly is not getting anything nice for lunch.
Down to the cake.
No. Zena's going to hold her cakes to ransom because of that.
So that's the end of the first round of Kay versus Xena, and she did amazingly well. 7. That you've equalled my score and Nathan's score.
Oh, yeah,
The only person you haven't done. Oh no, what? Oh, she did quite well. She got 8. Robin got 8.
Right.
Yeah. So you do pretty well.
Yes.
And considering how tough the questions
They were very tough.
So which were the ones with?
Only one lifeline.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So that
So
does put the pressure on.
Being very tactical.
Yes. And how many Downton questions did she get right?
I got 3.
3.
Right.
Downton questions
Yeah,
right.
that's pretty good.
Very
That's pretty
good.
good.
I'm better at Downton than I am at Nottingham, obviously.
Apparently, yeah.
So you're going to have to wait now, not next episode, but the episode after will be when you find out who wins. So don't miss it, because
Yeah.
I'm desperate to find out.
Yes.
Because you're going down, sister.
I think I am.
I hope so.
I think I am.
We'll see you next time for the last in this season's Knit or Forfeit. So don't miss it, although we may well have a grand final, you and I, maybe in autumn.
Well, that's fine.
So we'll see.
because-
I think we should send the questions.
Yeah, totally. Like, totally, dude. So we'll see you next time for more. Bye! Didn't she do well? And those questions were not tough. When you compare the questions I had in my round against Robin, they were equally as tough.
Do you think?
I do. And there's a reason for that. The reason for that is we shot that before I shot my last round with Robin.
That's
and she
true.
made sure they were harder.
I did.
Yes. So don't feel, and I lost, so don't feel at all sorry for them. It's all fair. Yes.
We had a lovely time, didn't we, Xena?
Now, you may have noticed
We did.
on their player cards at the start of the round, there was a question, and the question was, which do you prefer, tomato or HP sauce? Now, I think we've mentioned HP sauce before. That's the brown spicy sauce that we have.
I think we've mentioned it before.
Yeah. And the question is often asked in this country, if you're having a bacon sandwich, which do you have? HP sauce or red sauce? And I think it was
Wow.
very interesting that both of you ladies chose red.
Well, it's got to be tomato ketchup, hasn't it, on a bacon sandwich?
Now,
I can't even comprehend brown sauce on a bacon sandwich. Everybody's shouting at me now, going, "No, it's HP."
to be fair, I would agree with Kay. When it comes to a bacon sandwich,
Yeah.
it is red sauce.
But
But
you
if
would
it was a
put
sausage
sausage
sandwich,
sandwich.
it's brown sauce.
I was just going to say, if it was a sausage sandwich, you would have brown sauce.
If
I
someone
would
put
still
red
have red.
sauce on a sausage sandwich, I ain't joking you, I would not eat it.
Really?
Nope. Wouldn't be interested.
Well, that's a bit much, isn't it?
Speaking of eating, it's time for the return of
Ooh.
what's in your sweetie jar.
Right.
That's yummy.
Now, in a twist on the last series, on the last few that we did of this, we will no longer be sharing with you our favourite sweets. We will be trying new sweets. And for the next few episodes, they will be sweets from different countries. And we've
Exciting.
never tried these before.
No.
We will also then start trying sweets that we've never tried before as well. And I think we should give them a Bakery Bear score out of 5.
Right.
And we'll start today actually.
Okay.
So, what we have here is a packet of Mike and Ike's.
Never heard of these in my life.
I also have no idea what these are. From the packet though, from how they look,
It's upside down.
from how they look a bit like
Like Tutti Fruities.
Tutti Fruities. So, we're going to see if they are like Tutti Fruities.
Right.
So, I'm cracking up the packet. This was very kindly sent to us by Celtic Castle, along with the yarn.
Yeah.
And I'm failing so far because I actually can't. I'm in.
There you go.
He's made it in. Oh, they're nothing like Tutti Fruities.
Oh gosh, they look like jelly beans.
Oh, crumbs.
So this is a Tutti Frutti. It's square.
So, what colour are you going for?
Well, I'll try red. These look entirely different. Look, you can kind of see through them. It looks a bit jelly.
Red is strawberry.
It looks a bit jelly beanish, doesn't it? Red is strawberry.
Yes. I'll
Right.
go. There's only one lemon. I'll go lime, maybe. Okay.
It's like a jelly bean.
Uh,
Oh, it's tangy.
it's very tangy.
It's like a tangy jelly bean.
It's
I wasn't expecting that at all.
No, I wasn't. That packet is deceptive.
Well, they're nice.
It makes it look like that, and it's not.
I think I prefer Tutti Fruttis. Do you prefer Tutti Fruttis?
Yeah.
He's being diplomatic, isn't he?
No.
They're nice.
That's not unpleasant.
I think Bryony's very funny with sweets. She likes orange and purple, and that's the two colours that she likes. She's very against green and yellow.
We often find that sweets that we get sent from foreign countries are very sweet.
They are sweet, but they're tangy as well. And who on earth are Mike and Ike?
Yes,
I would
please.
like to know.
Tell us.
Who are Mike and Ike?
Oh, and I see that.
What flavour was that?
Well, that was red.
Strawberry. There
No,
seems to
it's
be
cherry,
two
it's
shades.
cherry.
There's two shades. Right. Look, there's two different shades. So which one's cherry?
I've got to say,
That one's strawberry. I think I had a bit of that.
that cherry tastes like antibiotics I used to have when I was a kid.
Oh, right. The
Or is it
medicine.
erythromycin?
Erythromycin. Right.
So I'm not liking the cherry. But the colour I had before,
Oh, I used to love
which was
that.
lemon,
That pink medicine that you used to have. I loved it.
what would we give? That tasted of banana. That was disgusting.
Banana? There isn't
No.
banana.
The pink.
Oh, no. The one I had didn't taste
You
of
just said it
banana.
was pink.
Pink.
Sorry, there was a yellow one
Yeah.
that tasted of banana.
Yeah.
That was
It's
disgusting.
not that one.
What would we give that?
Out of 5?
No, out of 5.
Oh,
Make your best score out of 5.
I probably couldn't go more than a 3, I don't think.
I concur.
Are you thinking 3? Only because I'm not mad on the texture of jelly beans, and it reminds me of jelly beans.
Well, let's compare it to Tutti Fruttis. What score would we give Tutti
Oh,
Fruttis?
Tutti Fruttis are a 5.
Wow.
I mean, they've got to
Top
be.
score?
That makes me think of, I would say so. I mean, what's wrong with the Tutti Frutti?
No, I'm not disputing that. That's your opinion.
I should dye a yarn way. A yarn way?
I would
Colourway
give
and call it Tutti Frutti.
Tutti Fruttis. I would give 4.
All right.
So let's settle with 4.5 because I've gone 4, you've gone 5.
Okay.
So Tutti Fruttis, a direct comparison, in our opinion, of course. Mike and Ike's, very nice. Slightly shocked about what they looked like
Yeah,
when
I
they
was
came out.
expecting more of a
Wasn't what we were expecting at all.
crispy outer.
Yes,
I think.
if they had a crispy outer, I think with that strong flavour, because that could edge them equal, if not higher.
Yeah.
So Mike and Ike Corporation, stick a crispy outer on,
Yeah.
and you'd win over the English market. That's for sure. Okay,
Cool.
so who knows what we'll be trying next time? We do know because it's in the drawer over there, and it's it's something else that you can try. So yes, we have a lineup of foreign sweets on the way. So Mike and Ike, 3 out of 5. Kay Jones, what's off your meal list?
Right. Well, I've already shown you my socks, so I won't dwell on that. But I showed you before that's been finished since the last podcast. So it's
So
my
those be your 3 chimneys.
3 chimney socks, and I had quite a lot of the yarn left.
Pattern available now.
Yeah, I have actually pulled off a couple of minis on this to send to friends, but I had quite a lot left. I think I used about 62-ish grams, something like that, of the yarn. So yeah, finished and lovely. And then I've taken it off now because I was getting a little warm. But the poncho, I finished the poncho, my goodness. I did knit that extra repeat, and I'm really glad I did actually. Do you know what I find really difficult? To work out which is the front and which is the back. Do you know, because the short row, so obviously the back is longer. But I have trouble, I think that's the back and that's the front. Yes, that's the back because that's where the join is that I can see on the thing. So there's the lovely poncho. It's lovely. Look, it came out so nice. I did make a couple of mistakes. I noticed when I was doing one of the eyelet rounds, there's like a couple of knit rounds in between the eyelets. When I came round to do another eyelet round, I got to a point where they weren't lining up and I was like, what's going on? And I noticed when I looked down, it's just yarn overs and knit two together, SSK, sorry. And after I'd done the yarn over SSK, I'd done another random yarn over. So I'd created another hole. But luckily what I did, I wasn't going to rip back. That just wasn't going to happen. What I did was, luckily, just near it, I'd joined in a ball of yarn. So I had a couple of yarn ends. So I thought, right, I can just sew that closed. And then I just decreased a stitch on the row I was on, just to bring my stitch count back right so that my eyelets lined up. So that was the first mistake. And then I made another mistake. Before you do the ribbed border at the end, ribbed border, is the border? No, the ribbed edging. You do an increase round. And I realised when I started to knit the first ribbed round that I'd missed an increase round. Now, this wouldn't necessarily matter because you can just increase another stitch at that point, which is what I did. But the way that the increases are done, it's done in such a way that the increase ends up in the purl bump stitch. I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain this right, but can you see here? The increase is in that purl bump, so you don't see it up here at all. You don't see the increase. But of course, that all went skew-whiff because I missed one. So further round, you can actually see the purl bump above the knit stitch. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Can you see there, that little purl bump above the knit stitch? And I just thought, oh, I didn't really like it very much. But in the end, I just thought, well, do you know what? I'm just going to have to live with that. Nobody's going to really look that closely, are they? That halfway around it changes. So I just thought, right, I'm just going to plough on. And knitting this rib was, I found it just really, really trying. And the reason is, and I said this before, I think, when I was knitting the collar, keep calling it a collar, the cowl. When you knit the cowl, it was purl 2, knit 1. You can see this on the pattern, you know, it's a paid for pattern, but I'm not giving anything away because you can tell it's that just by looking at the photo. And on the ribbon at the end, it was knit 2, purl 1. I found this really, really tricky for some reason. And I think it's because your brain, I think if it had been a knit 3, purl 1, I'd have been okay with that. But because it was knit 2, purl 1, every time I did a knit 2, I wanted to purl 2. And every time I purled 1, I wanted to knit 1 after it. So I kept making mistakes. It was just infuriating. You know, I was only having to tink back a couple of stitches every time, but oh my goodness, it drove me absolutely up the wall. And I don't know why really it couldn't have been knit with just a knit 2, purl 2 rib. And I think if I ever, I'm laughing at myself, if I ever knit it again, not going to happen, but if I was ever to knit it again, I would just do a knit 2, purl 2 rib because it just drove me absolutely bonkers. But it's finished, and I decided that I'm going to gift it to Nana Wendy for Christmas.
Yippee!
Yay! Because, well, a couple of reasons really. I wasn't sure that I would wear it loads and loads, but I'm pretty certain Nana Wendy will wear this.
Yes.
Jackie will be watching. Don't tell her, Jackie.
She already knows not to say anything.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Oh, well done, Jackie. But I think Nana
Well,
Wendy...
it's not well done yet, because she might let it slip before Christmas.
She won't.
She's been tipped off.
But I think Nana Wendy would wear this a lot. Do you know when she's walking?
Yes.
When she's out walking?
Yes,
or
yes.
even when, do you know, like if she just had it hung by the back door, because she's always out listening to the dawn chorus, isn't she? The birds in the morning.
pyjamas with that over the top.
Just stick that on over the top of a dressing gown or whatever, or pyjamas. And I think it's lovely. So, and I had, out of my 7 skeins of the Quince & Company Lark, I just had a little bit left. I probably could have done another couple of rounds of the ribbing, but I didn't want to risk running out on the bind off, so there we go.
Cool. Anything else?
Well, I do have, let me tell you, I do have one other thing.
Let's see it then.
And some of you will cry in horror, I'm sure, when I tell you what I'm going to do with this thing. But I've had this thing just lately where I've just felt like I've had too many things too many things on the go and maybe too many long-term things, I get antsy if I have something on the needles for a long time. I get antsy in my pantsy. I just don't like having too many long-term things.
That should be a hashtag
And-
for any project that you're
Yeah.
getting a bit concerned about. Hashtag antsy in my pantsy.
Antsy in my pantsy. That's a good one, isn't it? I was thinking about my sock yarn blanket. Do you know my big one? Here it is. And I haven't knit on this in ages. And do you know how I'd started making it wider? And I said I wasn't enjoying adding squares on that way. I just wasn't inclined to knit on it, and I really just wanted to knit on the other 2 sock yarn blankets I've got on the go. And I thought about it for a while, and then I thought, right, well, let me just have a look at the size of it. This is the size, stretched out. It's quite big, you can see. But I thought to myself, right, let's fold it in half and see what size it is folded in half. So here it is folded, it fills the entire screen folded in half. I measured it and it's about 23 inches square when I fold it in half, which kind of works out. I thought, oh, that's quite convenient. So what I've done is I've ordered a 24-inch cushion pad, and I'm going to make it into a big floor cushion. Because realistically, we've got a lot of blankets that do get used. Excuse me, I didn't want this just to be another blanket that sat on the back of a chair and never got used, Whereas, if it's a floor cushion, we all sit on the floor a lot. Bryony likes sitting on the floor. You sit on the floor with her when you're playing on the thingy, don't you?
Mm.
I'm always sat on the floor just because it's nicer on my back and my legs. So I thought, let's do it, And I did think about it for a little while. I thought, I can't do that, can I? That just doesn't seem right. But then I thought, why not? Because, I've got to the point of it where I've had a lot of enjoyment out of knitting this, an awful lot of enjoyment, but I've maybe now got to the point where I feel like it needs to be finished and I need to move on and do something else. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm really glad I made that decision. So that cushion pad should be here any day, really. So next time I'll have this ginormous cushion to show you, and I think that'll be lovely just to, throw on the living room floor and sit on it, and it'll be really nice, So yeah, so I'm going to do that. So that's finished.
Cool.
And I will more than likely start another one, but I am going to wait until I finish my Stitching Time blanket, and then that will just leave me with my pinky purple. And at that stage, I think I'll be comfortable starting another one. But
Well, you will be comfortable because you'll be sat on that.
I will. Yeah, so I'm really pleased I made that decision. So I would say to people, don't be scared to change your plans on your projects, because I think, it's all about enjoyment, isn't it?
Yes.
And we should enjoy what we're doing, and I've loved every square of this. I've loved, and I didn't want to get to the point of not loving it. So
I have been having a lot of messages over the last 6 to 8 months, and they're always about other things, but something's always mentioned in those messages.
Right.
And I had one just yesterday, and it made me think that now is the time to go back to something.
Right.
Yes, well, in the early days of our podcast,
Yes.
you would have lovely things to show in the What's Off Your Needles, and I would have nothing
Right.
because I was so slow and so rubbish.
Yes.
And so, what did I used to show?
Lego.
Yes. So I decided, because loads of people have been asking for this, just very short in each episode, I'm going to take you on a journey.
Oh.
And that journey is our Lego journey. Starting on when you were in hospital. So how many years ago is that? Bryony is 10?
She's 10 and a half.
So 10 and a half years ago is when I got my very first Lego set. Now, we did many episodes back, we have shown this before, but if we're going to do this journey, then we need to start at the beginning, because it's a very good place to start.
It is.
Song time.
Yeah, I know. I was going to sing now.
And here it is. It's a very pertinent set to show as well, because they've just actually re-released this set.
Have they?
But they've re-released this set, I think, as... This is from Revenge of the Sith. It's from Star Wars. It's some Lego from Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith. And this is Anakin Skywalker's Starfighter. Now, the set that they have recently brought out in the last 6 months is Obi-Wan Kenobi's Starfighter, which is exactly the same but just some different colours. They have made some upgrades to it. There's a full-size droid in it now, and I think they've got improved guns that flick fire. But this set was the very first Lego set that we made, and we sat there making it whilst Kay was in hospital before Bryony was born. And you know, I remember the doctor coming round, and we were sat there making Lego Star Wars. And I, you know, why did you buy this for me?
I've no idea, honey. It's a long time ago. I can't even... Did I buy it?
Yeah, of course you did.
I've no idea.
Well,
I think it was just...
I think you bought it because you bought it because everything had been about you and about the pregnancy and about you were thinking about other people again as usual.
Right, yeah.
And you bought me this as a special little.
I probably did.
I wonder if this was supposed to be like a present from Bryony or something.
I don't know.
It had some connection like that, but it's a really cool little ship, and you know, it's got fold out little wings on the side, and these move around as well, and it's a fairly robust build because it's 10 years old, and I've never had any major problem with it. And we do play with these things. It's very good, really. The cockpit is really good. There's a little joystick there. There's some stickers either side that Kay will have done because they're perfect. If you can see those stickers in there.
I was always the sticker.
I've got better over the years. But this set is the set which did two things. When we first met, I was not obsessed with Star Wars.
No.
And this did two things. This got me going on Lego, and it got me back into really, really loving Star Wars. And, you know, remembering the fun that I used to have playing with the Kenner toys when they were... It's been bought out by Hasbro now as Kenner, so it's Hasbro who make all the Star Wars toys. But Kenner used to make the moulded plastic toys that I had loads of. This, for me, is a million times better than any of those moulded plastic toys because it's just fun, isn't it? And it feels real. The Anakin figure as well is pretty cool. He's got a little headset on, which you might be able to see. He's got a little headset on so he can talk to Obi-Wan Kenobi in, of course, the ship, which is now nearly 10 years... Well, it probably is 10 years on. That's probably what they thought. It's 10 years on, let's get the set back out again. So that was the first step on my Lego journey. And next time, I'm going to have to try and work out what the next step was on my Lego journey.
Gosh,
I know...
I can't even remember.
Well, I've got a fair idea how
Right.
things panned out. Bryony and I were watching a little Lego podcast the other day, and it turns out one of the figures that we've got
Oh, yeah.
is worth 50 quid.
Came running into me. Oh, my gosh.
Just like $75. Just this one tiny little figure. Amazing.
Amazing.
As you know, we love our Lego set. So it's going to be a real joy and real fun taking you through every stage. Last time I just showed you whatever I just finished building. This time it's going to be all about taking you through every stage of the journey. So there'll be Lego Star Wars, Lego City,
Cool.
Ghostbusters Lego, all sorts. It's time for the Endy Bits.
Endy Bits.
Yes, so yarn that was sent
Oh.
for a prize. We will each episode
Yes.
show you one of the prizes for the cow.
As we gather prizes together, I would love to say that I will sew up a bag, but I did some sewing.
It's months away though.
It is months away. Maybe I will.
Let's try and work up to that.
Okay, maybe I will. I did some sewing yesterday and I'm in a lot of pain today, so it wasn't a good idea. But I was contacted by lovely Susan. She's got a shop which is With Pointed Sticks. It's yes, it's Etsy. I was just double checking it was Etsy. It's called withpointedsticks.etsy.com. And she contacted me and said, oh, she'd just come out with this little range of mini skeins. She does full skeins in these colours as well, but it was based on Cape Cod. And I love this idea. And she said, you know, can I send you a set of minis and one as a giveaway as well? And I was like, of course you can do that. That would be marvellous. So thank you so much, Susan, for that. And this is the minis. I've got two of these. And the base is lovely. When I first looked at it, I thought, oh, that looks like it's got silk in. And it absolutely has silk in. It's her calligraphy fingering, and it's 50-50 superwash merino and silk. And the colourways are P-Town, I'm not sure what reference that is, P-Town, mussel shell, lobster pot, salt box garden and sea glass. Look at the beautiful colours. Oh my goodness. How lucky is the person going to be that wins this? And I've got a set of these as well. And actually looking at it, 2 of them do have hints of purple in, so those can go in my pinky purple straight away. So thank you so much, Susan, for that. So I would definitely say go and have a look at her shop, and because she does, like I said, there are full skeins of these colourways there. Beautiful, beautiful. So that's going to be one of the prizes that we've gathered so far.
Whilst you're getting out your Blacker yarns, I will tell you about, as I've already mentioned this, but just in case you need a little reminder, the double knit along is still going on till the next episode, so there's another couple of weeks to go. Please come and give it a go and join in. There's loads going on in the chatter thread, and there's loads and loads of entries in the finished object thread, and I totally messed up because I put in the finished object thread no chatter, and then someone put up a project I thought was lovely, and I commented. What a spoon. So I totally messed up.
It's really hard not to comment on non-chatter threads.
Wrong.
It's really hard.
But of course it's done that way because random number for the prize. The prize, of course, is you can pick, and he's had loads of new patterns come out. You can, yes.
And he's got a new sock pattern.
Yes.
Nathan, Sockmatician, has just published a toe-up sock pattern. Toe-up with heel flap and gusset that uses German short rows. And I bought it straight away. It's not expensive. I think it's like £2.
I think it's the first pattern we've ever seen that in the notions there was a calculator.
It's got loads of information in there. It really is. If you've never knit, a toe-up sock, and you want to know all the ins and outs and how you work out how many stitches to cast on and all those kinds of things, it's brilliant because it tells you how to work out your stitch count based on your gauge and all information like that. It's it's really, really packed full of info. This is not my fault, this purchase. This is Blacker Yarns' fault. But do you know how I've gone on before about Blacker Yarns. It's Blacker Swan Falkland Islands wool. It's the yarn that I used for my Duchess of Devonshire. Do you know, the gold coloured yarn? I absolutely love this yarn, and I bought a load of it in, I think I've got about 4 different colours at the time that I was knitting the shawl because I wasn't sure what colour to use and things. And I got their newsletter the other day, and it said in it that they were discontinuing some of the colours of their Falklands wool because I think they're going to bring out new colours. So I thought, right, okay. And I'd been thinking for a while I wanted to do something with all this kind of stash of the yarn that I've got. And I thought, right, maybe I'll just get a few, some of these discontinued colours because I can't get them again. And maybe I might want to knit a blanket or something at some point in the future. I was thinking of maybe a crocheted ripple, something else blankety wise, and I thought, right, I'll go and pick a couple of skeins each of these discontinued colours because I just had to really. So I got 2 skeins of each. This one is like a beautiful orange. It's called Hawkweed. I love that shade of orange. I'm not normally an orange person, but I like that shade. And I've got this one which is Sorrel, which is like a kind of similar to my shirt, isn't it? Like a maroony, sort of browny maroony. And then this one, which I love, which is called Sunset, which is this beautiful pink. So those 3 were discontinued, so I got 2 balls of each of those. And then they also had this lovely lilac. This isn't a discontinued one, but I just loved it. And this is pale lavender, so I got 2 skeins of that as well. So this I'm just adding to my stash of this yarn. And if you've never knit, I'll show you the label. If you've never knit with this yarn, it really is, it's just beautiful. I cannot recommend this yarn enough. And my Duchess of Devonshire that I knit with this, I've worn it and worn it and worn it, and there's no pilling or anything on it at the moment. So it's just beautiful. It's not a superwash, which I highly approve of.
All done? Yes. Cool.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much for watching our special podcast anniversary episode.
Yay.
Who would have thought 2 years ago when we started this that on our first podcast anniversary that would be the impetus for us either to stop podcasting or
Yeah,
to take
I
it
know,
as
I know.
our job,
Yeah.
which is now what we've done. And thanks to all of you guys, that we're still here and growing, which is amazing. And what I'm looking forward to now is where we're going to be on our next podcast anniversary. We've just done our first little pilot of a little show that we put out on the Pop, the Knitting Homesteader with Marsha from the amazing Twitcher Stitch podcast.
That was so fun.
We're shooting our first new, properly produced new show, which will be out as soon as we can get the production finished on it. There's loads of cool things going on. What's in Your Oven is coming back as a patron monthly series, which is going to be super cool. It will still appear on the main podcast sometimes, but it's going to be a regular show for the patrons. So there's all sorts of cool things happening, and it's all thanks to you guys. Thank you so much. And that brings me on to the last little thing. You guys. There is one of you guys in particular who sent us an amazing happy podcast anniversary song on our first podcast anniversary.
She did.
This time, she sent through this little message, and I had a quick look, and I thought that's great. And then I looked again the other day, and it properly sunk in what she'd done.
Yeah.
Our outro music. When we started the show, as we've spoken about before, we took a long time to find the right music that reflected us and music that we liked. And loads of you have said and asked about this music before. Well, Jamie Ganji has actually come up with some lyrics, and she sang along.
She did.
And she sent it to us. So we watched it back and we were so touched, and I messaged her just the other day and I said, look, if you send me some clean audio, I will mix it in with the outro music for all of you to enjoy. Now, we couldn't just let Jamie and the plain old outro music play, so we've put together a Bakery Bears band, which consists of me. So all the additional instrumentation that you hear in this outro now is me, but the focus should of course be on Jamie, who has come up with these words herself and sang this herself, and
She's got Jamie, you've got such a beautiful voice.
it's such a lovely thing to do. It meant so much to both of us.
I've often said to Dan, I wish I could sing, and I would love to be able to sing.
Everyone can sing.
Oh gosh, if I had a voice like yours, Jamie, it's just beautiful.
Everyone can sing, but not everyone is gifted with a wonderful voice.
It's true.
Yeah.
And Jamie is definitely...
Not that we know, of course, with you, although the little bits I have heard are actually very good. So enough waffle. We will see you in 2 weeks for episode 50, and I promise you, you are going to love the favourite places to knit. So worth waiting for. Rise of the Tudors time, people.
Thank you,
Summer
Jamie.
of Socks, Cal. Summer of
Socks, Cal. Very,
Come on.
very excited.
Kay's birthday kick-off 25th.
Yes, I'll open the chatter thread so we can all start chatting about...
Let's make this the best Cal we've ever done.
I think socks are the perfect thing to knit in the summer as well. You know, it's not some great big heavy project that's going to be hot, you know, if you live in one of the hotter countries. So I think it's just perfect all round, really.
And come and challenge me if you're an intermediate sock knitter. Come and tell me what height you're going for, and let's have a battle. Come on.
Battle of stacks.
So I think it's time for us to say goodbye, and for us to say, Jamie, take it away.
Who's it sitting and knitting? It's Dan and Kay, the bakery bears. Enthusiasm's not quitting for Dan and Kay, the bakery bears. They'll take you to fabulous places of which they're favorites they'll share. You better buy a pattern, get yourself a bakery bear. You'll find yourself in a castle while watching the bakery bears. It never feels like a hassle to sit and watch the bakery